What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again for another episode. And as always, if you guys enjoy what you hear, what you're going to hear, please be sure to rate and share this podcast. You can rate this podcast on Apple or Spotify and all of that good stuff. And yeah, so as always, let's get into the show. What I've been up to, not a lot, really. Just been working. Actually, recently, for the Juneteenth, Kendrick decided to do his show, which was basically a victory lap for after destroying Drake and his beef. But it was also a great show overall. I sat there and watched the whole thing. The whole thing was just basically a coming together celebration of West Coast music, as well as the celebration of Juneteenth, and that we are able to be where we are and do the things that we do now from all of our struggles in the past, from my ancestors and whatnot. So it was just one big whole celebration. And Kendrick was like doubled down on this being like a West Coast thing. I believe there was talks about that people who bought tickets for the show who did not live in LA got refunded their tickets because he really wanted it to be like a local thing, which was crazy. I can't blame him for that, but yeah, it's wild. But I get it, because even for me, watching that, there was a lot of artists that was on there that I had no clue about, but a lot of people in the crowd were feeling them, and that's what I'm saying about local. Like, the people in your hometown, you get love from your hometown. That mainly matters a lot. So for a lot of people who was on that show performing, they were getting a lot of love from the crowd, and I think it wouldn't have hit if it would have been a bunch of people who just came just to see Kendrick. And to double back on that, recently during what was Hot 97 show, the summer show they do. I forgot what it's called. Whatever show they usually do for summer. Method Man, the Redman performing. Method Man took to social media and said that this would be the last time he would perform there, because just the generational gap and what the fans what the fans are expecting and who they came to see is like, this is not our crowd, so there's no point bringing us here no more. And that's what I felt would have happened if a lot of outsiders came to that show. Like, a lot of people were like, yo, like the first 10 people that came out, like, they're just saying they're like confused as who they were. So it was nice that it was a whole local thing. Like I said, just a celebration for the West Coast. Victory lap for Kendrick. He brought out a lot of people, a lot of big names, a lot of people who, like I said, I'm not familiar with, but people that, if you're on the West Side, you probably be familiar with their music. Some surprise guests. He reunited, well, not reunited, but yeah, he brought together Black Hippie. My only downside about that is Absol did not perform. Everybody else got to perform a song. I'm like, bro, like, come on. But it's all good. He did perform my favorite song, which I mentioned last time, 616 in LA. That's like probably my personal favorite of the whole Kendrick Beast diss songs. So seeing him perform that and performing it to Absol, like, word for word, like, there were some songs like he kind of like seemed like he forgot words, and there's some songs that he changed the words to add more insults to Drake. But that song, he made sure he got it right. So it was a great performance overall. This man played, he performed, not like us, 5 times, kinda. The first time he performed it up to the A minor part, where he had the crowd just singing along with it, and he would go back on it again. The second time it was more he let the fans perform it. Then the third time he performed it in full. uh, and then yeah, he just kept on going and had like everybody that pulled up on to the show, everyone that came up to the show, everyone who was just there, like all the celebrities pulled up on the stage, everyone just dancing around, just dancing to Not Like Us, while he's just sitting there still performing the whole thing. And then he closed the show with playing Not Like Us, the instrumental, for the sixth time. So yeah, but it was overall good performance, good show, good showcase of unity, because not for just bringing the West Coast together, but he brought gang cultures together. West Coast is big on gang culture, and to bring people who are known for being on different gangs were on that stage together, united and having a good time for that show. So that was a moment, definitely probably a moment in history. So it's nice to witness things like that. And it always makes me wonder things like when you think of retrospective stuff, like oh, this was a moment in time, this was a history thing, like things that we didn't think we would ever see in our lifetime, and then we see things that happen in our lifetime, but it's realizing, is this going to be a moment in history? Like, did I just witness something that's going to be talked about years to come, the way that things were talked about when I was young, hearing people who were older than me talk about things that happened years ago, and like, yeah, man, this was this moment right here. So it's interesting to be in it. So I'm just curious to see how this moment in time will age as time progress. But yeah, for gaming, I finally beat Baldur's Gate 3. Took me 10 years of forcing myself. But yeah, I don't know. It was a roller coaster ride playing that game. When I first played it, I was mixed feelings about it. But I understood it. But it was just mixed feelings because of how I gravitate to that setting in games. I don't usually. It's mixed for me. But then added some mods into it to enhance the gaming experience, and I started enjoying it a lot more. And I started actually just going through it a lot. And by the time I got to Act 3, like, I don't know, it just felt slow to me. The missions weren't making sense, and then not only that, but taking breaks, trying to remember what the story even was about. So I was like out the loop by the time I got back to it, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do what I can and just finish this game and get it over with, and that's that, because I really wanted it off my hard drive, so it's a lot of space. So I finally beat that. I'm playing Yakuza. I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole franchise, but I'm starting on Yakuza 0, which is pretty much the prequel. I want to play it in like timeline order if I do get into it, and see how, because this would be a game that I would assume that I would probably enjoy. I just never bought it or never got it, and I don't know why, because obviously the game takes place in Japan, and my connection with Japan and my recent travels to this, like, you would think a game like that would just gravitate to me easily. Like, it's basically, I don't want to throw the GTA clone term around in there, but it's an open world game. It's semi-open world. It's not open world like GTA. There's no driving. Well, I don't know if the other games got bigger, but in the one I'm playing right now, 0, there's no driving and nothing. You are in a section of the city of a town, and you just go from where you gotta go from mission to mission, and that's it. So it's not a whole open world, like I can explore the entire Japan region or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff you can do, like in terms of just like side stuff, like just go bowling, play darts, do karaoke, just a bunch of other random stuff. So it has the Japanese culture in there of side activities along with the main quest of the game, and it's pretty much kind of a beat 'em up game. You just walking around, some people like, hey, I don't like how you look, and you just start fighting a bunch of people, and that's it. But I don't know. I'll see how well I perceived this game and see if I continue playing the rest of them from there on out. Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. I beat that recently as well. I played the first Hellblade, and I don't know. It's a good game. It's still mind-boggling a little bit because the first game, for the most part, takes place like you're playing with just Senua. There's no side characters. There's no nothing. Like, there's side characters, but they're kind of off screen. You don't see them. You only hear them because the gimmick, not so much of a gimmick, but the gimmick of the game is that you're playing with a character who suffers from a mental illness where she has voices in her head talking to her. Like, it's basically like having your inner thoughts constantly question your judgment and your thoughts, so you don't know what to believe. So you hear one voice in one ear and a voice in another ear, because it works with a binaural audio, so it's best to play the game with headphones. And sometimes they'll help you, like, well, most so in the first game. They didn't really do much in the second game, but in the first game they'll help you where they were like, oh, behind you, and you look around and there's actually an enemy behind you. And sometimes they would say something and there won't be nothing behind you, so it could be misleading because it goes with your thoughts. You don't, it's hard to trust yourself when you don't, when you are unstable mentally. So it's like a whole thing of who to trust. You can't even trust yourself, let alone trust other people. So when the second game comes around, it's like there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's people in the game now. So it feels weird seeing her interact with other people and also hear the voices in your head at the same time. And it's a lot. It becomes a lot. So for people who do deal with things like that, salute you for getting through things and getting through life. Hopefully, obviously, you should be getting help. Anyone that's helping you, because obviously this takes place in a time period where getting help for things like that isn't a common thing. So she's just straight up, dealing with it. But it's a cool game overall. The only issue with the game is, it's a lot of walking and talking. Graphics is amazing. For the most part, it's like almost hard to tell if you're watching a cutscene or actually playing the game, because it just looks that great. The transition is just almost seamless on what it is. Like, there's been times where like I'm moving and like the camera angle will look like it goes into a cutscene angle, so I just stop moving and let her move, and she just stops moving. I'm like, oh, this is actually gameplay. And then there'll be other times where I'm actually just moving, and then I just stopped moving for a second just to see something, and she's moving on her. I'm like, oh, this is actually a cutscene, so I wasn't even supposed to be doing anything. So it's great graphically, but if you're not a person who's like patient, I guess, who wants to just get straight into the action and all of that, then I don't know. It's not a long game though, but the walking and talking makes it long. So did that, but yeah, that's mainly it. I can't review Novelist's album because it comes out the day this comes out. So I guess I'll probably talk about it next podcast, but I'm actually excited for this one because he recently revealed the track list, and he has a song with Elzai and Blue, which Elzai, if you know, Novelist is a Detroit rapper as well, so Elzai being a Detroit rapper from Slum Village, that's just gonna be a dope collab. And Blue, they have collab before, but it's just always nice to see when to see someone like Novelist who I wouldn't like I said he's not like some unknown rapper. Like if you know, like you just do basic research on Clear Soul Forces and whatnot, you'll easily get into his music. But you know, him and his group they haven't done a project together in some time, so it's just mainly he's just been doing his solo thing. And to see like him taking his solo career completely independent, he even he quit his job, he banked on himself and just completely just said, I'm believing myself with this music thing. And to see him to see him collab with artists that you think would be like, oh, like they're a little too big for him, but nah, like, so I'm interested to see that. And of course the whole project is produced by Hero, which is a friend of his. His beats is phenomenal as well, though. Like they do a podcast together as well. So I like when Hero talks about making his beats, and he's like, because I can hear it when like he's great at telling stories with his beats. Like you can listen to a beat and feel like, oh, like I know where I'm supposed to be mentally in this song. So he's like, when people ask me for beats and whatnot, like you gotta be specific when you ask me for beats, because if not, I'm gonna take you to the outer space cyberpunk, the year 3000, if you lead me to my own vices, because he's just mad creative with his beats. So, and the funny thing is that this the album's called Cyberpunk Rhapsody, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm expecting some futuristic, mind-boggling stuff. So I look forward to that. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna get into this topic real quick. Might not be quick, but yeah, real quick. The main overall concept of this topic is it's talking about the cocoon phase. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure I talked about this plenty of times, but I feel like I don't know if I dedicated a whole episode to it. So basically going with the 3 R's is how I break down the cocoon stage. Is basically resetting, rebuilding, and rebooting. However you want to flip that around, it's on you. So when there's a point in time in life and where you feel like things are starting to become, very, like, what's the word? It's like right there, bro. Like when things are just constantly becoming a cycle and repetitious and whatnot, like everything just feels the same. Like every day's the same because you just don't break out of a habit, and even like your hobbies are starting to get dull. There's multiple ways you can go with this. Obviously, if you just sink deep into just letting it happen, and that just leads into like depression or whatnot. But usually you could also get put into, the cocoon phase of your life, where you sit there and take a moment to analyze yourself, your lifestyle, your surroundings, who's around you, the things you do in your life. You really sit there and take time to yourself and figure everything out. And hopefully by the time you bloom from your cocoon, you come out with a new perspective on things, new way to look at your hobbies, probably a new hobby altogether, a better, healthier relationship with your friends and whoever else is in your life. Or maybe you realize there's some people in your life that don't need to be there anymore. That's, it all comes with the territory. So I've talked about my situation countless times, and I feel like I went into like multiple cocoon stages, but I always talked about the main pivotal one, which was like around like 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019. I was there. Um, where, you know, everything in my life was it was starting to feel the same, and it was crazy because it was like, I recently, recently I was out of school for like a year or so now. So despite school being a repetitious thing, it was still, like I said, I enjoyed my college years because of just it didn't feel repetitious like high school. Like, it didn't feel like I just woke up, went to school, the same classes, the same people, the same faces, in this building for how many hours. Like, I'm just in this one building for how many hours, and then I just leave, come home, and do it all again type stuff. Like, with college, is like, you have a class on one part of the campus, and then you can have a class on the whole other part of the classes. Then you have a good, probably like a good hour, 2 hour break. For me, sometimes it'd be like some long breaks, and I didn't have a car at the time, so it's not like, oh, I could go to class and I can just go right back home, do what I do, and then go back to class. I had to sit in that campus for like a few hours. So that's when I started getting into different things as well. That was like the prequel to my reboot phase in a media aspect. I changed my music, the things I listen to. I started getting into new music tastes. I got into podcasts. I was against it at first. I started listening to podcasts then because obviously, like I said, I didn't have a car, so that journey from my campus back home was a good lengthy one, so I had time to listen to podcasts. Even getting into reading manga. I got more serious into reading manga. Not more serious, but like more active in reading manga during my college years. So that was kind of my Cocoon stage. Like I said, I literally on purpose didn't make any like relationships or friendships with anyone there because I was just busy trying to focus on myself, which, like I said, I mentioned this before, which is not something you should do in college, because the main core of college is to build network and relationships with people, because these are the people who you're either competing or working with to get the jobs that you're studying for. So maybe this person knows someone who, like, they kind of set, like, they're not set, but they have a foot in the door, and like just getting this degree would like help them get in a little faster. And it's like, yo, like, you could put in that recommendation for me too. Like, yeah, he like, he's good at doing this, he's good at that, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of like the main point of college. But like I said, I was just trying to focus on myself because, I was in a dark space, and I was still in a dark space, but, I was slowly trying to fix myself. So that was like the first prelude to it, but it wasn't around to like 2018 where I fully like took it more serious on what I should do and how I should focus things on life. And that was when I started getting real bored with everything in life. Like, I got bored with playing video games. I got bored with watching YouTube. I got bored with just like the way I would handle myself. Like the reason why I would play games, I played it because my friends was online, so I'll just play just for the sake of playing with them. But then there's days like, they got lives, they're doing stuff, they hanging out, they not online. So what I'm gonna do? Nothing. I have no life. I'm just sitting there. So it was like dealing with that, and then at the same time, I had a dispute with my best friend at the time, and I stopped talking to her. Then I was basically isolated from everyone in my life. I wasn't really talking to no one. Then, like I said, I was bored with all the stuff that I was doing. And it was like, then it was like, I'm working my job. It was like, it's just working a part-time job at that too. It was like, it didn't feel fulfilling Like, just like doing a few hours here, then leave and come home, and then I'm just sitting there. Um, so it's like I had to sit there and analyze myself and analyze what's going on and things I enjoy and why I do the things I enjoy and whatnot. And when I came back out of it, I went back into making music again because I retired. I quit doing music while I was in college. And like I said, I came out and, listening to new music. Like I said, I mentioned this last episode, I believe, where like 2017, 2018, more so 2017 was just an interesting time for music because there was a lot of projects that came out that influenced me and changed my way of thinking and how I look at certain things. So I mentioned that with Rhapsody, and it just motivated me to want to do it again. So I got back into making music, which was great for me because I always use music as a way to express myself when I feel like there's no one else I can talk to, type thing. And like I said, I wasn't talking to my best friend at the time, who the only person I really talk to about anything in my life is her. So not having that, it was nice to go back into having my original outlet. I've actually I downloaded this app where I had my guest Brie and Rose, who came on here several times, talked about, but that's where I met them on the app, and I originally used it as another way to express myself and my thoughts, because there was like a blog mechanic, like where you can just make blogs and talk about stuff. So I was in groups talking about dreams, I was in the group talking about anime, talking about music, so just a way to just vent things out. And then there was one just talking about things in my life and how I was feeling about things and people in my life, so I was able to vent that out and get it all out. And like I said, that's where I ended up meeting my group, Bree, Rose, Jake, Glick, all of us. And it was a weird friendship formation for me because of where I was in my life, where I was still in the cocoon stage, where I was trying to I was getting there, like I was like, finally like releasing the shackles of myself and running into these group of people who were dealing with their stuff. And it was like, I wasn't comfortable, and I didn't like being in the role or the position of being the friend who can give advice about life stuff, because it was like, I'm no like if we would have met like a few months earlier, like it's one of those things. I always think about that, like, but that's what it's like, timing, things happen because they're meant to happen. Timing is important. The signs, the people that put into your life, it's important. So I always think about like, it's crazy that we share this relationship, and the way I speak to y'all, it's like y'all literally missed like me being dark and whatnot just like a few months ago. It's like if I would have came here just a few months earlier, you guys would have came, because they literally me and Rose, because we mentioned that me and Rose kind of joined the group at the same time. So it's the fact that it was meant to happen. We was meant to meet at the time we were supposed to meet. And that also goes into after I finally kind of like started bettering myself. My best friend, she just popped right back up, texted me like, yeah, like what's up, and we just picked up our friendship like nothing happened. We apologized, whatever, and we just kept it going. But it was like timing, like as if she knew like he just needs some time, so I'm just letting him be by himself, and I'm gonna focus on what I got focused on in my life. So we just went back, did our thing, and we just came back like like not much happened, not much change, a little catching up, and that's it. And then of course for gaming, changing how I play games, changing what kind of games I played, why I played them, because it's no fun constantly like, oh, literally like, oh, there was many days where two things would happen, and this was like just toxic traits on my end for me. But it's like I'll just go downstairs. Like I'll be bored in my room. Like, oh, let me go downstairs, turn on my Xbox, see who's online. Nobody's online. I don't even put a game in. I'll just turn my Xbox off and just go right back up in my room. And then there's days where, oh, I'm bored. Let me go downstairs and see what's going on. I go on and I see the whole squad is online playing the game in the party, having the fun. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, when did this happen? Like, how come I didn't get no invite? So I would like, then I'll be petty and like, I'm not even gonna play with y'all now. Like, clearly y'all didn't want me here, so I'm just gonna leave type thing. So I would just not show up and play with them. And I would just deny myself that, and I would just again sit in my room. But now I'm like angry at them and angry at myself and angry at everybody. Like, fuck you guys. So I had to change that. So I had to like, it is what it is type thing. Like, you guys, that's your circle. I don't belong in that circle. I only, like I said, for the most part, I only play with one person, and if that person he has to play with with his group. So let him play with his group. But whatever you want to play, I'm here. Let me know. I'm not gonna force nothing. And that's pretty much it. I mean, funny because that low key happened last night. Where it was like, oh, like y'all want to play Warzone, and we were like, yeah, what time? And like, yeah. And then I was about to get on and everything, and he was like, yeah, I already got 2 people with me, which you can only play with 4 people. And I'm like, well, if he gets on, that makes it 4. So I'm just gonna excuse myself out this then. I'm not even gonna bother and make it a scene or a moment and have people choose whatnot. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all have that. I'm just gonna chill, enjoy the rest of my night. But the same thing also going on with me and my friend. Me and my best friend, we really haven't spoken in like about over a month now. So, and it's healthy for me, because like I said, usually she's the only person I speak to. So obviously, like, if anything bothering me, I'll go straight to her, whatever, I vent things to her. But allowing myself to say I can't keep doing that. It was the reason why I joined that app. I can't keep relying on her to express myself and venting things out. Despite we both do it to each other, because that's just how our friendship is. Like, when there's no one else to speak to or get things out, there's each other. So, but I'm not gonna keep relying on it. So I mean, I know that she's dealing with things in her life too. So we're just gonna let each other deal with my own issues, and we speak on a more healthier terms, not just to bring negativity to each other. So dealing with that, not trying to constantly do the same thing over and over again and be in a repeating cycle, and eventually I'll just get bored and tired of the cycle and want to change and want to find new things in my life. So that's mainly the whole concept of what I'm speaking about with the cocoon phase and whatnot. Like, detaching yourself from the healthy cycle, the unhealthy mindset, and the things that you're constantly doing that even though at your core, like, I like gaming, but certain things, like, I can't keep playing this game over and over. It's not fun no more. Like, having allegiance to a bygone era like you're trying to cling on to a moment that's long past, and you just hoping that, oh, maybe that one day I'll just like it'll just happen again, like history repeats. So like the amount of times where we playing games and we just like, yeah, man, like you wasn't around for these days, like that's cool and all, but those days were cool, but let's make this moment these days. And it's like we don't really play a lot of games that's like that. Like I don't know, that's why I'm not gonna keep playing the same games. That's it don't really do much for us. Well, for me, I'm not gonna speak for them. It doesn't do much for me, so that's why I started getting into playing more single player games, and I found my love for Cyberpunk. Like I said, just sitting there playing Hell's Blade, playing Baldur's Gate 3, playing Yakuza now, like just trying to just enjoy myself and enjoy these stories and these games and these moments. But yeah, so the thing is, obviously when you get to the point of questioning like why certain things aren't fun as they once were, like I said, like you're trying to cling on to a nostalgia, an old moment, an old feeling. It's okay to question these things, to figure it out, but don't overthink. Obviously, that's one of my biggest flaws previously, is just constantly thinking about things too much and creating too many scenarios in your head. It's best to just understand that there is a disconnect between you and this thing, and trying to figure out how you can either rebuild it, or you may have to push it to the side. It could be permanently or it could be momentarily. Like I might just have to just step away from doing this for a little bit, like just with music. Like I was done in my head that I was done with making music, but it was a momentarily thing. Like I was making music for the wrong reasons after a while. And when I found out that reason didn't matter no more, like I didn't want to do it no more, it wasn't fun no more. So I just pushed it to the side. Then now I found a new reason to do it and a new enjoyment to do it. So that's why I do it again. So don't overthink it, but find an understanding to what's going on. That's definitely a key thing. And of course, the most important thing is, try something new. Figure something new out in life. Like I said, it could be as simple as, like I said, playing games. Like you probably play a lot of multiplayer games. Start playing some single player games then. Stop playing for other people and just play for yourself. Music, stop listening to the same genre, the same artist. Listen to something new. Movies, stop watching the same movies all the time. Well, I mean, that's gonna be tough for me because I love watching older movies. It's not even that I don't give newer movies a try. Newer movies just don't stick with me like older movies do. Like I watch it and I'm like, yeah, that was cool. And then like, by a year past, I completely forgot what happened in the movie. But then there's movies that I seen when I was like 10 years old that I can still remember scene for scene. So I don't know. But yeah, just give yourself a change. Give yourself a change. Spice up your relationship with yourself. Just as like they say, when you're in a relationship with a partner, you gotta spice things up. Treat yourself like that as well, because your relationship with yourself is the most important one. That is the one that comes first, besides your relationship with God. But your relationship with yourself is key for people who don't have that belief. And obviously, treat people how you want to treat yourself. Figure a way. First you gotta find out how you like to treat yourself. Things you like to do, things you don't like to do no more. So you just learn about yourself. It's all right. Don't be afraid of the cocoon phase. It's something that happens a lot, but don't be afraid to do it. Like I went from being the athlete, sports kid that was always outside having fun and running around playing basketball, to doing art in watching anime and reading manga and playing video games. Like, things change. And that's fine, because maybe that new thing brings you more happiness than the previous thing, so nothing wrong with that. But that'll be about it for this episode. Just a more focused, direct conversation about when you get to the point in your life where you need a reboot in your life and you need to change things around and analyze the situation that was going on in your life. It could either be your friends, it could be yourself, it could be your hobbies, the things you're into. Like, analyze everything. That's what you say. You go into a cocoon mentally. You put yourself in the space and you realize what's good for you, what's no longer good for you. How can you fix it? And hopefully you come out with the game plan of how you can move and deal with the things in your life, and keep your happiness protected. Just keep finding a way to give yourself joy in life. I would never thought I would ever travel by myself. That was something I never really thought about, like going on a plane and going somewhere. I remember it was a time ago, because I have a sister, but I didn't learn about her for like, it wasn't long, but I didn't learn about her till like probably I was in maybe 3rd grade. Cause she lived in California at the time, and then like she came over here, like her family sent her over here so she could meet her dad and obviously meet us eventually. And she also has family on this side too. So, but it was like she came here by herself, and only she was just a kid. And I'm like thinking about like, would you be able to do that? I'm like, damn, I was like, I don't know, like I get lost. Like I would get anxious just thinking about going to the New York subway, like like trying to figure out how to get there. So like I would never imagine taking a trip on a plane by myself, let alone to the other side of the world, foreign country, and finding happiness and joy over there. Like, like sound like the most anxious and unsettling thing you can do in life, but sometimes it's those risks that kind of pay off, I guess. So don't be afraid to take those risks and do things that you normally won't do. Just try new things in life, man. But yeah, so going of course with the question of the day, which would be, what would be for those who have been through the cocoon phase and went through it, what was something new that you picked up? Like, what was the new thing that you started trying and probably you stuck with? Like, what's the new thing that you haven't done before that you came out starting doing that you truly love and enjoy? And yeah, that's about it though. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, please be sure to share this, rate it, and all of that good stuff. Hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and until next time, peace.